Let's talk about a little tool that's been very good to me, and probably to you too. Been around for a while, but it's got a new friend. We're talking Magic Wand and the Quick Selection tool. Let's start with the old favorite, Magic Wand. The Magic Wand tool has a couple of features that are kind of interesting and help control it. For example, the word tolerance right here and the number 32. That number can be any number from 0 to 255. What does it do? Increases or decreases the amount of information that you are going to select. Now let's go back to Color 101. All pixels have values to them assigned that determine the color. And there's hue, saturation, and brightness. Brightness value goes 0 to 55. Tolerance goes 0 to 55. Although the Magic Wand incorporates hue, saturation, and brightness in its calculation, the primary thing it looks for is the shift in the brightness of the pixel. If I type in a tolerance of 0, you know anybody who has 0 tolerance? Okay, 0 tolerance, and come over here and click, I'm not getting much. I'm saying to the computer, I'm going to click right here. You start moving around. As soon as the pixel shifts tolerance, don't select anymore. So what I'm saying to the computer is only select the pixels surrounding that pixel that have the same tolerance. You ain't going to get much. If I come over here and shift that number to 255, which is maximum, and come over here and click again, as you can see, I've got the whole thing. In most cases, not all, but in most cases you will. Why? Because you're saying select everything within all tolerance ranges. Let's say we want to remove the sky from this image, because what I have down here is another sky. And I want to put that sky in the back of this one. I have to select that sky. Magic Wand, in this case, would probably be pretty good for that, but we have to decide our tolerance. Tolerance up here, let's start with 32. Now, 32 is the default. You will also notice you have an anti-alias. That's to keep it smooth, like that, leave it on. You've got sample all layers. If you're working with multiple layers, it will drill down and sample the other layers if you want to. And we have one here called contiguous. If I leave 32 on and click right about here, it selects a chunk of the sky, it stops at the ground, and it stops at the pyramid. Why? Because those areas shift beyond the tolerance of 32. However, there very well might be some pixels somewhere in here that fit in that same tolerance. But it will stop because I've got contiguous on. In other words, computer, if there's a barrier between me and those other pixels, don't leap over the barrier. If I turn off contiguous, I'm saying, I don't care where it is, select it. Click the same spot again, and as you can see, I'm getting all kinds of stuff. There are reasons why I would want to turn that option off and go non-contiguous. Most cases, especially for a sky, you want to leave it on. So let's do Control D, deselect. Let's turn contiguous back on. The first thing we do is decide our tolerance. Now we know 255 would be too much, and we know 0 would be way too little. Let's leave it at 32 and click right about here. Okay, so we get a piece. So what do we do now, Andy? Increase the tolerance? No. Hold the Shift key down. Shift key adds to a selection. And what I'm doing is just moving up and selecting in areas that are not yet selected. Just hold the Shift key down. You will get, probably, what I call sparklies. Sparklies are little tiny dots that just don't want to go away easy. Now you could hold the Shift key down and select them. Here's an easier way. Come over here to the lasso tool. Now I'm jumping ahead of myself, but the lasso tool is a freeform tool. If I hold the Shift key down and circle that sparkly, it will select it into my selection, or add it to my selection, I should say. And I'm just going to make a big old circle around here to select all this stuff. And what have I got? I've got everything selected. So the Magic Wand tool, in conjunction with a little help from the lasso, made sure that I had the entire sky selected. My next step, well, if you want to do it this way, you could just delete the sky. Press the delete key. And there you go. We've successfully eliminated the old sky, and we brought the other sky in from the bottom layer. I'll tell you what, through the magic of undos right here, I'm going to go back up again until we get to right there. So we've got it selected again. Let's go back there. I don't want to delete it. Deletion is, to me, destructive. I want to do it in a non-destructive way. Let me show you just another trick here. We'll actually get more into this later. but this is a good time to show you this. I'm going to go into the sky. So come down here and click sky. We can turn off pyramid for a second. There is a button right here that we've got a whole lesson on, but I'm going to click this button right here. That's making a mask, and watch what happens. When I make a mask from a selection, I'm saying only show me what I selected. Again, we'll get into this in much more detail later, but I just hate to delete things, and we're not really deleting, we're masking. Turn back on Great Pyramid. Of course, nothing's different. But remember, the only thing now visible in that layer is that sky. Now do this. I want you to click Great Pyramid, bring it back, change this button right here, the blending modes. We've got a whole section on this one too. Go to Overlay. Computer, overlay this sky on top of that other one, and boom, you've got it. This sky right here is showing through. None of the sky is showing on the pyramid, which it would if we hadn't masked it out. And we have non-destructively added the sky to this image. That's just one more way to do it. Let me show you one more tool. And let's go ahead and go back again, so we're kind of back to where we started. And let's go back to Great Pyramid. The second tool right here is easier to use in terms of its options. There's not many. It's called Quick Selection. The Quick Selection tool does have sample all layers, which means if you've got multiple layers, it'll select in multiple layers for you. And it also has an option for Auto Enhance. If you've got a really tricky selection, you can turn that on. Same thing we want to do. I want to get rid of the sky. Come over here with this tool. We won't change any options. Get right about here and drag. Click right about here and drag. Now, as I'm doing that, it's adding. Keep dragging. This is one quick selection tool. We move over and go down. You say, look, you got the top of the pyramid. That's fine. Hold down the Alt key, Option key on a Mac, which means take away, and very carefully drag around in this area until you get all that out, and boom, you've got the selection made with the Quick Selection tool. You come over here, maybe, go to Great Pyramid, change normal into overlay again like we did before, and you get basically the same thing. The Quick Selection tool allows you to make quick selections of definable areas. The Magic Wand tool, which has actually been there the longest, sometimes can be a little bit more specific on what you need. But in our case, either one of these would have worked, and this one probably would have been the fastest, the Quick Selection tool. But I love them both. Get used to them, practice with them. You can make complicated selections pretty easy with these tools.